Welcome to I Believe. And I believe you are believing great things today. You know, we're all walking in faith, but what are we believing in? Am I believing the word? Am I believing God? Am I believing the truth? Because if I'm not, whatever my faith is, God will meet us at our faith, but sometimes our faith is, you know, I'm all the things that I shouldn't be. And we begin to confess that. I encourage you today to say what God says about you. You're fearfully and wonderfully made. When God made you, he caught his own breath. He said, oh, praise me. This is fabulous. I mean, really, that's the way that God sees you. So let's start saying what God says about us.
Get your pen and get some paper. You can pause this or come back to it. Get some pen and get some paper. We're going to teach you creative writing. If you want to write a better song, if you want to write a better book, a better article, a better letter, a better Facebook post, you're going to watch this program. Share it too. Share it on your page. You're going to watch this program, and you're going to, when this program ends, you're going to be a better writer.
Amen.
Because Reba Rambo, Grammy-winning, Dove-winning,
well, and I've been around the mountain a few times.
You're a great writer. You're an author, a great published author.
Well, thank you.
And you're a great songwriter. You taught me how to write. Writing is a craft.
It is.
You taught me how to write in 1988. It's something you can learn. It's a craft.
Yes.
You can learn it. So we're going to teach you writing. We're songwriting teachers, but we're also creative writing teachers. You can write a song, and everything I teach I learned from this one over here.
Well, let's say, we've mentioned before, I think, let's say that our pastor or someone has been preaching a series on grace, and that is in the forefront of our heart. Grace, grace, grace. Well, what are some of the questions we can ask ourselves about grace? First of all, if we're listening, we've got scriptures to back up whatever grace is. So we start with the word. What is grace? But we also say, you know what does grace look like? What's a picture of grace? The Good Samaritan comes to mind. What is a picture of Jesus getting down in the dirt with the woman caught in the very act of adultery? That is a picture of grace. What does grace look like? What does grace sound like? Grace has a sound. And it's not an accusation. It's not condemnation. Grace has a sound of mercy. See, that's right there. That would be a bad idea. The sound of mercy.
Great writing incorporates the five senses.
Yes.
What does it sound like?
Yes.
What does it look like? You have to describe it with adjectives.
Yeah.
What does it sound like? What does it look like? What does it smell like? What does it taste like? What does it feel like?
Because grace is like a warm patchwork quilt on a cold night. That's what grace is. It will envelop you. It is tangible. You know, it's in virtue, which is an attribute of grace, which is the ability to heal, restore, and strengthen. Jesus said, I felt it. I felt it when it left my body. There are sensations in the spirit that we need to learn to tap into. That we talk about the five senses, but there are other senses that say, what's happening in my body right now? I remember a great woman of God. She would say, when I'm in the anointing, I'm always so sensitive. God, what are you doing? What are my fingers telling me? What is the heartbeat of my heart telling me? What is my breathing telling me? Your body keeps the score, as we say, but your body will begin to speak what God is speaking. It's an amen to what God is saying. And so many times when we are listening, and you talked about the fragrance. We are unto God the fragrance of Christ. Through us, he diffuses his knowledge in all places. In other words, we make God smell good. So there is a fragrance. Have you ever been listening to a song and you go, oh, that was like a cold drink on a hot day. Oh, that was so refreshing. See, the more pictures and the five senses we incorporate, the better. We're trying to make many videos and songs for people.
And we want them to feel it.
Yeah.
We want them to sense it. We want them to experience it. We're creating an experience. Not just words, but an experience. So creative writing, great writing incorporates the five senses of the listener. Great writing answers the questions like a journalist.
Right.
Who, what, when, where, why, and how. Great writing answers the questions who, what, when, where, why, how. Describe the situation.
Yeah, and it's just a big spoon when we do that. Like when I say, okay, who operated in grace? Of course, we know Jesus did, but how many times in the scriptures or in our own life, my grandmother, she operated in the gift of grace.
Talk about your grandmother and talk about how you incorporated the law of reciprocity, talking about grace and mercy and the law of sowing and reaping. Talk about that.
The Lord,
how you brought this.
Years ago, the Lord spoke to me and said, I'm going to have you write a fresh look at the clobber scriptures. The ones that we got beat over the head with in our little country church, you must be born again, that kind of thing. Well, I can say you must be born again and
or else.
Or I can say, he's so delicious. Taste and see. You must try it. Or I can also say, you must be, like father, like child. You must be. There's so many different ways to approach. But we had a gentleman that came to our church when I was a little girl, and he preached hellfire and brimstone. And it was, whatever you sow, you're going to reap. And I would be sitting there, my little 6-year-old self, just terrified that, I was going to hell. But he made it so hard. What you sow, you're going to reap. Never the positive side. But both of my grandmothers were very godly women, and both gardened, and they began to teach me about whatever you sow, you reap. So why not sow mercy? We wrote that song and
give me some lyric.
It says, I can see her now, her weathered skin, that old straw hat and crooked grin. And she said, God, let's make these flowers grow. Let's till the soil and pull some weeds, and here's your own bag of precious seed. Because Grandma's got a secret you should know. She was talking to me as a child.
Sing the chorus.
So mercy, so grace, so kindness, so faith. Words are like water, sprinkle with love. You will harvest all your heart's been dreaming of. So mercy. And see, when you hear the clobber of reap what you sow, then you can turn that. And that's what a great writer does. Will find the positive slant, the God slant on it. It says, yeah, you can sow meanness and reap meanness. You can sow hatred and reap hatred. Or you can sow mercy. You can sow kindness. You can sow grace. And Philippians 4:8, we want to think on the things that are good report, that are praiseworthy, that have virtue in them. They can heal, restore, and strengthen.
So great writing incorporates the 5 senses, answers the questions who, what, when, where, why, how, and great writing is specific. It's
very
detailed.
Specific. It's detailed. It's not just, I can say flower, and that can be anything from an exotic lily to stinkweed. But if I say a crimson velvet red rose or whatever, because we're trying to make a video. The more information, the more specific I am in my writing, the more I pull the people into the experience. It's like if you go into a house and they've got a dirty linoleum in the entryway and a light bulb on a string and it smells bad, you want to get out of there.
Yeah,
if you go into a house that's got beautiful winding staircase and marble floors and crystal chandelier, you say, I can't wait to see the rest of it. See, in our writing, we only have a little short time to hook the listener and to say, do you want to investigate the rest of this?
Yeah, I wrote a song one time with Reggie Stone about my family, and it was very specific. And somebody who sang it rewrote that specific verse, and it took all the power out.
Man.
And they said because they thought that it would take everyone out of it, except for that specific situation. But it's not that way. When you write in a broad way, it takes away the power. But if you write specifically, they will experience the emotion of it. Like I think that was a mother barely 20 out there on her own, my mom, a teenage boy in prison before he's even grown, a dear family member, the illness of a loved one, the widow no one calls. There is one solution, an answer for it all. And so even though it was specific,
yes,
there is power in the name of Jesus, even though it may not be someone else's situation. So I can't stand snakes. I don't like snakes. My legs are moving all around under me right now. I don't like snakes. I'm afraid of snakes, okay? So I can say I saw a snake. And to me, that's scary enough, but it doesn't really carry power. But if I incorporate the 5 senses, if I say, answer the questions who, what, when, where, why, how, and if I make it detailed and specific, and I have that all in my mind, I could say, while climbing the west bank of the Grand Canyon at dusk, I looked down, and 18 inches from my right foot was a huge diamondback rattler, coiled and poised to strike.
I'm running already.
I'm running because it carries an emotional wallop when you're specific.
We pull them into the experience.
We pull them into the experience. Great writing is specific writing.
And great writing is also active. The verb is one of the most important things you can do, because there is nothing still. This planet is moving. I don't know. I'm not that smart, but this planet is
Pretty
moving,
smart.
Yeah, is moving so quickly. We have the false security that we're still, but we're not. Everything is active and everything is moving.
That's
I remember
good.
when Mother wrote her beautiful song, "The Rose." Even though she's talking about this rose in a vase, she's talking about this weeping, dying rose. Everything has life to it. You know, and so whenever you're writing about something, how can you, it's in the action that the video keeps playing. If we get stagnant and still too long, it stops and people get bored. But if we keep the verbs going, everything is always moving and going and morphing and changing and transmogrifying. Everything is.
What?
It's changing up a bunch.
Trans what?
Transmogrifying. Oh, good.
Share this. This is great teaching. You're a great teacher.
Thank you.
So let's do something called that poetry that we.
I am poetry.
I am poetry. Let's do that. You taught me that. Let's do that.
Every line, you may have never written a poem, but you're about to.
Ellen, bring me another pen.
In I am poetry, every line starts with I am. And I can ask you a series of questions, and every answer should have at least 10 words, I'd say, to it.
Okay.
So, and again, what are we going to do? If I said to you, if you were a color, what color would you be? You would say, I am, some people would say, I am blue. Well, what kind of blue? Are you Maybelline eyeshadow 70s blue? Are you...
I'm the teal blue at the center of the peacock's feather as he spreads his tail in pride.
There you go. So every line starts with I am, and you write it down, and you bring the senses. Don't forget the senses, and you're specific and you're active. The blue is doing something if you're blue. Okay.
Okay, Ellen, holler out a color.
Aquamarine.
No. All right.
Aquamarine.
All right. So get your pen and get your paper. Aquamarine. Okay. I am
aqua.
I'm gonna do the same thing.
A feminine soldier. Aquamarine. And this
Sounds like a superhero name.
Yeah, and remember, this is fun. This is exercise.
There's no right or wrong.
This is not a performance. This is the ballerina in front of the bar in the mirror, the parallel bar there, and she's doing extreme exercises because that's what brings strength and fluidity and makes it look effortless. So we do exercises that are extreme and silly and fun. And this is not, we're not going to get up and sing this on TBN. No, this is I am Aquamarine, a feminine soldier. Gliding on the endless waves of dreamland. I don't know. It doesn't have to make sense. Okay. That's what I am. I'm Aquamarine, a feminine soldier gliding on the endless waves of dreamland. What does that mean? I don't know. I am giving my pen permission to speak. It's not automatic writing, but it's just letting your mind go and okay, give me this.
I am the pale jade watercolors of the translucent waves, revealing the teeming, traveling family of tropical swimmers.
See?
Aquamarine.
But see, you're painting a picture. And you don't just want to say, I am blue, I am red. How boring is that? The last thing I want you to be is boring. I've had songs, I had one song submitted called Lord Make Me a Pencil. At least it was original. Lord, make me a
Okay. If I were a house, I would start off, I am.
I am. If I were a house, I am. Okay, and this, remember, we're just exercising, we're having fun. Mine says, I am majestic walls and towering gates that are open to the brokenhearted and the strong healers. Okay, just, and see, you need to think about you. This is one of those things. Who are you? When I used to be a therapist, I used this writing even with children. But, okay, so who are you?
What's yours?
I read it.
Do it again.
I am majestic walls and towering gates that are open to the brokenhearted and the strong healers.
Oh, yours is a spiritual.
Oh, well.
Can I say mine?
Yeah. Did
Okay.
you cuss a little?
No, I don't cuss or lie unless it's absolutely necessary. No.
Okay.
I am a 4,000 square foot, 100-year-old bungalow with a moss-thrown ancient oak casting the shade of a tropical climate. On a tropical climate.
Yeah. And see, that's where that's you.
But you know what I saw?
Yeah.
I had a picture.
Yeah.
And I described it with my words.
Yeah.
That's what writing is. You get a picture.
That's right.
And you describe it with your words. It's so easy.
I've actually wakened in the morning, and I remember once I woke up and there was a lady, she was as real to me as my Bible laying here. And she was probably in her 60s. You could tell at one time was beautiful. And long dark hair, and she looked at me and said, write my story. And the picture, and so I went over and immediately began raven hair and emerald eyes, but now the colors fade. And began to write about her. But so many times if the image is strong enough, that's why when I go, let's say I'm walking on the beach, usually I have some kind of a notebook, even if it's a small one, and just I'll take snapshots in my mind. What does the beach look like? What does it sound like? Who's here? What's going on at the beach? And if I do it well, it's like an artist's sketchbook. I can sketch the moment, and then later on go back and relive it and write the song or the story or whatever it is.
Let's talk about tools. For songwriters, for book writers, for creative writers, let's talk about tools.
Yeah. Well, how many of you love praise and worship, but some songs wear out praise, praise, worship, worship, praise, praise, worship, worship. There's a wonderful book. It's called the Synonym Finder. It's my favorite of all the thesaurus.
Mine too, you turned me on to it.
Yeah.
J.I. Rodell.
Yeah. The Synonym Finder.
The Synonym Finder.
Yeah.
Grand Central Publishing.
And if you turn
Hatchet
over
books.
to praise, the word praise,
Okay.
there's probably about 60 different synonyms for praise.
Well, Ellen, just throw out some words for praise right now. Let's hear some words for praise.
Like hallelujah?
Synonyms.
Synonym. Oh, praise.
Or that hallelujah is fine. Because
Hallelujah. Okay,
hallelujah.
give another one.
Worship.
Worship.
Worship. Give another one.
Passionate. Love.
Passion.
Passionate love. Okay, so you're searching your brain, but you could pick up your Synonym Finder
Yes.
by J.I. Rodale, R-O-D-A-L-E. I just picked this up this week, and I've had one since 1988.
Yeah.
So you just go over here to
Praise.
praise, okay, and you. Okay, P-R-A-I-S-E. Extolment, this is the noun, praise. Extolment, laudation, acclaim, acclamation, kudos, magnification, approval.
Kudos to you, Lord.
Yeah, tribute, testimony, testimonial, credit, puffery, bouquet. Isn't that a good one?
That's a good one.
Bouquet.
Yeah. And sometimes it's just the one word that will keep your song from being average.
Honeyed words.
Honeyed words.
Honeyed words. You didn't come up with that, Ellen. Applause, cheering, clapping, accolade. That's a good word.
Accolade, yes. And so whenever,
Esteem.
yeah, there's so many words
Hurrah.
there to keep from being boring. The last thing we want to be is boring and predictable. We want to write words and melodies and chords that somebody says, oh, that's fresh. Oh, that's like a fresh breeze on my spirit. But the more specific you are and not boring, there's a difference in repetition and redundancy.
So the first song I ever wrote, it was an instruction at the class in 1988. You said, Jeff, you gave me a book. And you said, write a song from this, and it was The Provoker. And I went to page 20, and it talked about a city of refuge. That church was a city of refuge. And the first song I ever wrote was City of Refuge. It's been recorded a few times. It's been a theme song.
You're an exception to the rule, because most writers, when they begin, they're pretty pitiful, because you're learning how to ride the bike. You're learning all these things, because there's so much to learn.
So how am I an exception to the rule?
Because that's a great song. I know that song.
Oh, you do?
But you have a history of singing great songs. You can choose a great song.
Yeah.
Some people that can't even pick a great song, you're probably not going to write one if you don't know a good song from a not so good song. But you had an ear to hear what the Spirit was saying, so you knew when it was working and when it wasn't.
And that song said City of Refuge, that paragraph. So I went to this book. This is an old book. And I looked up refuge. Okay, are you ready for this?
I am.
REFUGE.
GE.
Refuge. Shelter. Oh. Here we go. I looked up refuge in this book. It's an old book. Shelter. Protection. Security. Safety. Shelter from a storm. Okay? We are the city of refuge. As a new melody now, I've changed it, but this is the old one. A harbor in the raging storm. We are their help in distress, a haven of rest, a covering to keep them warm. So several of these things in here are my actual lyrics in my song.
Yeah, think
from
about
just
that.
looking it up.
Your shelter, your refuge, your safety.
Yeah.
What's the other? Haven.
Haven. It was in here.
Yeah. And so that will put some spice in the chili. Have you ever had chili that they don't have hardly any spice in and it's really not good? You know, these kind of tools will help you have a little more spice in your writing.
And we only have a couple minutes, so let's talk about one more tool. The new Comprehensive American Rhyming Dictionary. It has to be this one. The new Comprehensive American Rhyming Dictionary by Sue Young.
Yeah. And you know, how many of you have ever needed a rhyme, let's say, for the word well?
Well. Bell. A, B, C, Del, fell, gel.
Hell. And you know what we do? We're trying to build this house of a song, and we're driving nails in with screwdrivers.
So
if I go to my rhyming dictionary, and I understand there are things online, but this one it's not the same. And you need to understand how to listen to the vowel sound. Hell, L.
So go to L, E-L, because it's phonetic. You look it up phonetically.
Yes.
E-L. Bell, cell, del, dwell. L, fell, gel, hell, gel. We got a lot of them. Nail, quell, cell, shell, smell, fell. There are columns and columns and columns and columns.
And it starts with the one syllable, and then it goes to the two syllable, and then the three syllable rhymes. But it will help you build a better house more efficiently, a house that will stand. Don't just sit there and be going down the alphabet. And the investment of these at the most is
this is a Sue Young, and it's on Collins.
Yeah, it's probably $15.
HarperCollins.
Yeah. And this is in Synonym Finder, maybe 20.
Yeah.
You know what? To build a better house, that's cheap.
And let's talk about these are set up in this one, I think, feminine and masculine. So a masculine word, you need to know this, is a word that you're going to rhyme, if you're in poetry or songwriting, that's a one-syllable word, or the accent is on the last syllable of the word or phrase. So male, like a boy, a man. M-A-L-E. Male is masculine because it's one syllable, or the accent's on the last syllable of the word or phrase.
Right.
And you look it up in here in that way, masculine or feminine. Feminine is where the accent is on the...
Next to the last.
Next to the last syllable.
You can have a 10-syllable word, doesn't matter. We're looking at the last two syllables, like female.
Female is feminine.
Yeah.
So even though male and female have the same long A sound, they don't rhyme.
Right.
Because the syllables don't match. So
Did you ever,
female
have
and
you
male
ever
don't
sung a
rhyme.
song and the accent falls on the wrong syllable, but bless God, they're trying to force a rhyme in there? We want to avoid the awkward anything.
Yeah.
We want a song like Mother wrote those songs that people would say, oh, I could have written that. Oh, look how that just flows. That's so easy. That was one of the secrets to her great writing, that it was simple, but it was always fresh. And she was very cognizant of, is this falling naturally? Is this melody going off in the wild blue yonder? Or is it something, most successful songs have a 6-note range. The most we want to have is an octave 2. A Perfect Heart, which is one of our most recorded songs we've written, Bless the Lord Who Reigns in Beauty, has a 6-note range.
Wow.
Yeah.
So we've got lots to teach you. So we're going to come to you in times coming forward, and we're going to give you opportunity to learn. Share this on your page. If you will apply these principles, they'll be wonderful in your life forever. And we want to leave you with the most precious gift we could ever leave you. If you don't know Jesus as the Lord of your life, Scripture promises if you believe in your heart that he was raised from the dead and confess him with your mouth, you're saved. So right now, say, Jesus,
Yes.
I give you my life.
I give you my life.
For the rest of my life.
For the rest of my
Forgive
life.
me.
Forgive me.
Of all of my sin.
Of all of my sin.
Wash it away.
Wash it away.
And give me a brand new start.
And give me a brand new
Fill
start.
my body.
Fill my body.
With your spirit.
With your spirit.
I believe.
I believe.
You're the Son of God.
You're the Son of God.
You died.
You died.
You rose again.
You rose again.
You are alive.
You are alive. Yes.
Thank you for joining us. Thank you for joining
Thank
me.
you.
I love you.
Love you, son.
God bless you. If you just made a commitment to Christ or renewed your commitment to Christ and you're a new believer, we have a phenomenal resource for you at no charge. Just go to jeffferguson.com, jeffferguson.com, and then click the new believer button. And we want to help you with some information for your new journey with the Lord. Welcome to the family of God. I'm so glad you joined us today on I Believe. If you want to become a part of our ministry family, just go to jeffferguson.com, jeffferguson.com, and fill out the information form there so we can be partners together in ministry. God bless you. We appreciate you so much.
I believe, yes, I believe.